What's going on, Z Warriors? Mr. Waffles here, and we're here with TJ. You guys might know him from DBZ Panini United, one of the hosts for the podcast. And he came here with first place. He actually has more boxes. This is just one that he has, but we're going to also do a box opening with the winnings that he got. So he won 5 other boxes. So we're just going to get through his deck profile. I'm going to introduce you to him, and let's get it started. So what deck were you playing today?
Today, Black Garlic, man.
Black Garlic. So why Black Garlic as opposed to the others? Because I know a lot of people thinking like blue with blue overpowering, red with all the crits.
Yeah, well, for me, Black, one of the exciting things is that you can get passive anger with Black Commands. That makes it really easy to play because Garlic, you can get in a lot of trouble on level 4 if you stay in combat.
Yeah.
So, and Black also with access to Black Power Up, you can have up to 5 combat enders in the deck. So you can stay away from that as well. So you could manage your anger game and also manage combats as well as you want. And you don't really get that with any of the other flavors of Garlic.
Yeah, and you have access to Black Power Up. So if you're on level 4, you can just kind of get out of there really quick.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yep.
Yeah, all that stuff. Cool. So we'll get to the deck profile. So let's see what you're running.
All right, so, I mean, pretty much every Garlic deck at this point is running the full suite of Dragon Balls.
Yeah, and all 7 again, because I know some people probably might tech like a couple of Dragon Balls, but for you, do you feel like you just want to have another way to win?
Yeah, well, you definitely get another Link Edition, and the thing is, you need so many of them for tech anyway that you might as well just play all 7. I can't think of one that I don't like. All of them actually come in handy in every single game.
Especially for the Garlic level 2, you want to have more Dragon Balls to utilize that level.
Yeah, sure, and even as I was playing, I didn't hit it very often, but when you do, it's nice, because even that one extra anger can change the whole course of a combat.
If you're going against like a Turles or something like that, like heavy beats, like more chances to reveal Dragon Balls or something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, staple all 7 Dragon Balls. Ooh.
Pretty simple. So let's go sort of the board presence here, setups, 3 Black power-ups like we were talking before.
Yeah.
This is probably the MVP card of this deck, honestly.
Yeah.
Because Garlic can be vulnerable to stage damage since he's generally in low brackets for pretty much the whole deal, and he doesn't get a stage debuff until level 3. So keeping your stages up and getting out of combats is crucial, and you can play against any physical type of deck.
Yeah.
So let's see, we got powers. We've also got 3 Black declarations here.
Yeah.
It's another key card in terms of dealing with board presence. Black doesn't have a lot of elimination, but between Declaration and the 4-ball being in the deck, you can go a long way with taking out setups and drills that might bother you. And also, Declaration gives you a really cool option of cycling your Dragon Ball, so you can shuffle your own balls back in, like, for example, the 7-ball, and basically spam it if you can draw back into it again. So that's really nice.
Yeah, we even saw in your final, again, Game 2 against Red Krillin, against Fastbender, you shuffled back a Declaration for the 2 Endurance.
Yep.
You know, so that's even clutch in itself.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many plays you can make with this. Another thing that some Garlic people don't understand, but you have to run 2 dead zones.
2 dead zone.
You always run 2 because you can control so much of the course of the game, and it saves you against mill decks. You refuel. You can give yourself more ammunition for that level 2. You could recycle the balls. You can keep balls away from the Mech Unit and Red, another deck that might trick you and take them.
Yeah.
So you have to run 2. If you could run 5, I'd run 5.
Yeah, it's just that good.
And what else do I have? A Dragon Radar with 7 Dragon Balls.
Staple.
Self-explanatory. And Information Gathering now, a new staple. If you ever get a ball banished, so that could come up in mirrors against Black, and the Mech Unit if they reveal a ball before you. So Information Gathering, good to have. Maybe not totally essential, but
it's just good. You just never know in that situation where you wish like a ball gets banished, especially in a mirror or something like that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and what's good is, for instance, if their ball is already revealed and yours is banished, you could put it back with Information Gathering, then you could shuffle their ball back into either a Declaration or a Dead Zone, so you can play your own later on.
Yeah, or get it out with Radar or something like that.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
cute.
If you have Radar, I have to do it instantly. It's even better.
Yeah.
So that's the full suite of
setups
there. No drills in the deck, no smoothness drill, which I know might be controversial, but the truth is you should be leveling fast enough where you won't get stuck in any one place.
Yeah.
So, and part of the reason why that is that you won't get stuck because you have Black Command. So I'll talk about events now.
Yeah, that card's just busted. Like, they should really change that.
It's so busted since you don't even have to go into combat or use it as a card effect. You just discard down, get some anger, keeps you alive. And the other great thing is that you're always going to shuffle your Dragon Balls with this. So you'll never end up with balls pinned, and it makes your Dragon Ball victory alive win condition because you could always pull them off the bottom and they can end up somewhere else in the deck.
Yeah.
So we've got command. We've also got 3 stare downs. Pretty much goes to that saying. I'm not running a ton of blocks in this deck, so a lot of times stare downs will do the role of a block just to take out the threat. Usually you'll be taking an attack. Sometimes you'll be taking out something that can mess up your more actions, like say a Blue Betrayal is basically both of those categories. And that's something I ran into a lot today where you want to stare down and get rid of it if you have that opportunity. And then the last event, Time's the Warrior's Tool. Again,
self-explanatory.
So that's one of the 13 blocks in this deck. So we have Time, we have 3 black stops, which is Raise Your Anger 1, of course, fits the theme of the deck, and your opponent plays with the hand revealed, which is amazing. Just the knowledge in terms of how you want to play in your anger game, and also decide if you want to stay in combat or leave combat with your power-ups is very key.
Awesome, dude.
So we also have 3 kneecaps, simple card, but it gives you 2 anger.
2 anger is really good. Again, I was talking to James Sadmill. Just have anger on your defensive action is amazing. So
it really is. Because then you could gain anger consecutively. Basically. So we've also got anger on Black Corruption in addition to the million other things that it does.
Yeah.
Another totally busted card, but I love it.
Yeah, that's why you're playing it. You play 20, he'll play 20.
Yeah, exactly. And 3 black resistance. I mean, Endurance 3 gives me an anger. That's fine. That's all I need. So hopefully between the endurance in this deck is actually pretty high. I don't have an exact count right now, but you get some good So the 13 blocks, I found this is just about right.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, until they come out with another block that gains anger, this is pretty much where I'd go with this build.
Now, what about like black swipe, stuff like that?
Well, swipe, I'm not really trying to manage the discard, and I'll just break it out right now. I have 3 devastating blows in there.
Okay.
That can pretty much do the work.
Plus black in general, just banishing outright.
Yeah, banishing the bottom of the discard, things like that. Thanks, man. So, yeah, we'll get right to the attacks now. 3 devastating blow. Well, I mean, it gives me anger, discard control, and also anger control for the opponent. You need to plan for that because what I learned today, my one loss was to the Red Krillin that I faced in the finals. I played earlier in Swiss, and he was just faster. Especially with the new discard effects that Red has, is you have to have some way to control speed anger. So Devastating Blow is a good start.
Yeah.
And also another one that I use for that purpose is I'm actually playing 3 Black Dismissal, which is a pretty interesting card.
Yeah.
Endurance 2, I gain an anger, they lose an anger. It only does stage damage, but also it refills me 4 stages.
Yeah.
So that helps against if you have Turles in your meta, possibly even like a Saiyan Vegeta. This could give you a little wiggle room when you only have those 13 blocks.
And it has Endurance 1 or 2 or something?
Endurance 2
Yeah, so, yeah.
So
Amazing.
that's why I'm running 3 of that. So we'll move these attacks this side from this. We bring out some more good ones.
Oh, that Slurp Tech, man.
Oh yeah, let's get into the 2 anger stuff. We've got Black Combo, 2 anger. You can switch a wall breaker around.
Yep.
A lot of fun. Black Dash, 2 anger. You can switch an ally around.
Yep.
A lot of fun. Only 2 Black Hug maneuvers just for space reasons.
Yeah. And plus, it doesn't really do much, so I mean, rather.
No real benefit, but 2 endurance. So
and 2 anger is pretty good.
It's good to have a couple. We've got Black Overhead Bursts.
Yep.
And Black doesn't really have a way to critical, so to have big damage and the possibility to pitch for it makes the most sense. And then also 3 of Garlic's Counterblast. Ooh, foily.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Slurp Tech.
Slurp it up. Yeah, killer card, just make sure you don't use that on level 4. And then last couple of cards are basically just tech calls right here. So here I'll move these 2 anger cards out of the way. So that's 3, 6, 9, 12, 14, 2 anger attacks right there. So the last couple of tech moves, I got 2 Sagacious Strikes, again for criticals, and also punching through the Wall Breaker. Wall Breaker, I wouldn't say it's a problem, it doesn't ruin the game for you, but it definitely slows you down, and if you run into more than one, it's definitely uphill sledding. You have to rely on your DragonBall for that point. And then the last 2 cards, 2 Blinding Energy. You get stay out of combat to have 5 combat enemies, that's how you can get away with having 13 blocks.
Yeah.
And if you banish one Dragon Ball, you can information gathering.
Yeah.
And I haven't had it where I've really banished killer cards of this yet. Usually getting out of combat is worth more than whatever you might banish.
I think Blinding is a really good card this meta because of red.
Yeah.
Being with red relaxation, you could just enter Blinding, just discard the whole hand.
Yeah, red restriction too, is where they get to say it's either attack or pass. Well, how can you get out of that? Black power up isn't active, so Blinding Energy is the only way to escape.
Yeah.
So I definitely had that today where I had one card in hand and my opponent had at least 4 with after a restriction, and I was able to Blinding out of that combat.
The salt was real?
No salt. Actually, my opponent Chris, you might see his deck profile eventually. And he's a really good scorer, great guy, and we had great games both in Swiss and in the finals.
Yeah, so
no salt from him. Maybe some salt from other opponents there, but no salt from him.
Yeah, awesome, dude. I mean, what do you think about set 3 as a set in general? You think Panini dropped the ball? You think they did amazing with it?
I love it. It's so much better than set 2. It really opens things up. You can play all different stuff now. I think today we saw representatives from every single color. Heroes, villains, new MPs, old MPs, and we only had 28 people. I say only. That's a big set 3 tournament right now, but relative to how regionals are going, we still have great diversity.
Yeah.
So I thought it was awesome.
That's awesome. I mean, do you still think what about the big 3 from last set and basically 1 and 2? You think they're still prevalent now or not as much?
I think they're still useful. I just don't know if they really gained a whole lot, but we still need to experiment because we're only probably a week into set 3 right now.
Yeah.
I think, they haven't really lost anything, but a lot of other decks caught up. So now instead of having a big 3, you could have, even once it settles in, I'd say at least, 6 to 8 decks that will be really great, and each one will counter another one. So you'll have good matchups and bad matchups, and I found that all through the tournament today.
Yeah, awesome, dude. I mean, it just looks so solid. It's very straightforward, just 2 anger. What about Enraged Blast? Some cards like that.
It's just a space consideration. Couldn't fit it. Not styled, so you can't discard it to the master.
No endurance.
Yeah, it doesn't do enough damage. So it's one of those things where I just didn't feel that I needed it. I felt like the tech of things like Dismissal and Deathblow was worth more than the
Awesome. Anything that you would change about the deck?
Honestly, no. I was thinking about the idea of maybe putting in Black Delay, so if a wall breaker gets played against me, I could potentially bounce it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just don't feel like I have the space for it. And I've seen other people run things like scout maneuvers and searching techniques.
Yeah.
But
you don't care about what your opponent's doing.
It just gets in the way, and it just seems like too much. You need the ideal situation for that to really save you. And most of the time, it just gets in the way.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and again, with no smoothness drill, is it because you?
It's basically a time thing. You can never set it up on level 1 or 2 because you're going to fly past that. And then once you get to 3, it could be useful, but I didn't figure out where to cut the space. The blocks are already thin. The attacks are all pretty much necessary, but I could see it. I could see going a couple smoothness. Maybe I'll try that in the future if I continue to play this.
Oh, what about your hardest matchup? Would you say, or hardest MP or whatever?
Oh, well, definitely anything red speed anger, especially if they have restriction, is a major problem because I can't keep up. Sometimes I can go faster if I draw well, but there's definitely some variance in this deck. Sometimes you'll draw really well where no deck can beat you, and sometimes you'll get stuck with some dead hands.
Yeah, stuff like that. Did you ever feel that way with all the balls, could be dead, or you think black kind of makes up for that with the discarding effect?
Well, what was interesting today, there were situations where I would have been dead, but I don't think the meta I was up against was playing as aggressively as I would have been afraid of. So when I would get in situations where I'd be afraid, they would also have hands with maybe 2 setups or drills or dead cards where they wouldn't be able to take advantage of the fact that I was on a dead hand.
Yeah.
So if the meta is still where everybody wants to take their time, set up their boards, then this Black Garlic will have as much time as it wants to do whatever it wants. But if things get more aggressive, where decks like Turles and Vegeta just enter turn 1 and start hitting, that could be dangerous.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the deck looks solid again. Keep saying over and over again, and I'm glad you went something different. Black Garlic and something totally, because they said they have a lot of slime anger with corruption. Just especially if you have 2 of them or something like that. It's just brutal. I mean, sometimes you could out anger red in certain instances and stuff like that.
Well, and that's what happened in finals today. I went 2-0 against the Red Krillin and won by anger both times.
Yeah, awesome. Have you ever won by DB victory?
Yeah, I have. I usually, I'd say probably if I was to put a number, I'd probably win 70%, but 65% of my games by anger, 30 by ball, and then the last 5 is just lucky survival. I can just spam the 7 ball enough. As you see in this deck, there's not a lot of damage. A couple of energy attacks, but it's mostly just anger and defaults. It's not a true triple threat.
Yeah, okay, cool. So I guess we'll get into the box opening. I mean, we'll definitely be hearing you on the podcast, and you'll be at the 1K event for New Hampshire, I think.
Yep, we're looking at that, and definitely the regional in New York.
Yeah, for sure. You'll be going. Yeah, for sure. Awesome. So, well, I guess we'll just come back, and then we'll check the box opening.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.